Hi there, I'm Dr. Stephanie Falk, and today I want to talk about decision making. How do we make good decisions? So I have a few tips of things that I think can really help us, and then some things that we want to try to avoid and determine, hey, are we allowing ourselves to be influenced in this manner that lead us into maybe not the best decision for ourselves. So what are those good tips first? I think the good old-fashioned pro and con list is absolutely awesome because it takes a decision and it lays it out in front of us. All of the good things about that particular choice, all of the potentially negative things about that choice. It allows us to really factor in that sense of logic alongside maybe the things that we're feeling about that choice. And I think that balance is really nice. And so writing it down gets it outside of ourselves, allows us to see that bigger picture and perspective, which I think is really powerful. So that good old-fashioned list is a good idea. Second thing that we can do is, I think that people err a lot of times and kind of lose sleep over the idea of I need to be really careful because I'm choosing between right or wrong or good or bad for me. And I think more often than not, we're choosing between two really good options. For instance, if I'm trying to decide, do I want to major in accounting or do I want to major in biology? Both of them can be really good options for someone. And so it's important to maybe take some of that pressure off about choosing between right or wrong, because I think it adds this extra intensity around decisions that are important. Granted, it is important to figure out what you want to major in, but it evens out this idea that maybe it's not about right and wrong. And if I make this choice and it's the wrong choice, then maybe I haven't screwed up my life forever. I think that we often, again, make choices between two good things. Number three, I think it's important to, what I call this is live in a decision. And so maybe you live in a decision for a week. So for a whole week, you pretend that you're going into studying biology and a career in biology. And so you sit with that day in and day out, and you see how it feels to talk about it, to consider a career in that field, to sleep on it. And then the next week you switch and you live in that other major and that other career or option. And so you live in that for a week. And at the end of both of those weeks, I think you determine just how they felt. What was the difference in terms of holding both of those choices? The last thing that I think that is important to consider is that feeling component. Do I feel calm? Do I feel inspired? I think whenever we make a hard decision, there's always going to be some level of anxiety, and I think that's okay. But when we hold the various choices in front of us, what touches us more? What moves us to inspiration? What allows us to feel a sense of peace? And so we really want to try to marry a sense of logic with how we feel inside relative to making a decision. So those are the things that I think we want to do. And what do we want to avoid? I think we want to avoid, number one, making a decision based in fear or anxiety. I think there are some times when that is a good thing. So for instance, I'm standing on the edge of a cliff and I have my skis on, and it's not a hill that my limited expertise allows me to do. Well, that fear keeps me safe. But I think more often than not in life, we don't want to make decisions based in fear or anxiety. Rather, we want to make decisions based in moving forward, based in something that's good for us and inspiring, not avoiding fear or anxiety. Number two, I think that it's important to make decisions not based in unlikely possibilities, but based in things that are possible for us. So for instance, I don't know if this is the best example, but it's the one in my head right now. When we get in a car and we drive to work, we make the decision to drive a car, and there's some risk involved in that, and we know that there's some risk. Probably unlikely that we're going to get in an accident on the way to work, but we know that happens every day, and we assume that risk. And so we're making a decision based in a likely possibility that it's very likely we're going to get in our car and drive and be safe on the way to work. And so I think when we make major decisions in life, it's really important to ask ourselves, is this likely or unlikely? Number three, I think that we want to make sure that we're privileging our voice above the voices of other people and other influences in our life. And that doesn't say that the opinion of loved ones doesn't matter or shouldn't influence us, because I think that's normal and natural. But are we also privileging our own voice? Or are we doing things because it makes maybe a parent happy? Or are we doing things because it makes our best friend happy, but it's really not what we feel in our gut that we should be doing? So I think it's important to determine what are the voices of influence that are impacting this decision. And sometimes, unfortunately, we give power to a voice that we don't even really respect or appreciate, but nonetheless, we let it influence our decision-making processes. So I hope that it's been helpful to listen to these tips and tricks. Again, tips: develop a pro and con list. Think about choices in a different way rather than right or wrong or good and bad. Maybe it's two good choices and it takes off the pressure. And number 3, live in a decision for a week or so and then compare and contrast how different choices felt for you. Avoid making a choice based in fear or anxiety or based in unlikely possibilities, and really consider the voice that you're privileging and the voices of influence in your decision making. Thank you for tuning in. I hope it's been helpful. I wish you all the best in your decision making, and myself included. And I hope that you're having an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you.